First at 5, the state of Maine and the Maine Principals Association remain defiant in the face of a federal lawsuit from the Trump administration. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Grinley.
And I'm Greg Lagerquist. That suit really an update to an ongoing dispute. It claims that Maine's Department of Education is violating Title IX, which guarantees equal treatment for boys and girls in sports. CBS 13's Brad Rogers joining us live in studio.
And Brad, at the heart of this, the Justice Department is seeking a ban on transgender girls competing in girls' sports.
Yeah, they are. You know, in this 30-page complaint, the Justice Department accuses Maine's Education Department of openly and defiantly flouting federal anti-discrimination law by, quote, enforcing policies that require girls to compete against boys in sports or what the state considers transgender girls. U.S. attorneys argue by prioritizing gender identity over biological reality, Maine's policies deprive girl athletes of fair competition and exposes them to heightened risks of physical injury and psychological harm. However, the state argues Title IX doesn't ban transgender athletes and says even the Trump administration's interpretation of Title IX would violate the Maine Human Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination based on gender. Equality Maine says a legal victory for the Trump administration in this case would send a chilling message to student athletes in Maine.
That we're going to be searching and investigating everybody who plays every little sport, and that's not fair.
U.S. attorneys are also asking the Maine Principals Association, which oversees high school sports in Maine, to turn over every boys and girls roster from every sport, including names and schools for the last 2 years, along with all complaints, concerns, and reports MPA received regarding transgender participation in sports. The Maine Principals Association calls it a fishing expedition for private, privileged student information that is protected from disclosure.
That's someone's private, personal information if they're LGBTQ or not. Kids should be able to play sports, all kids in school, and it's no one's business if someone's LGBTQ or not and they play a sport here in the state of Maine, and that includes the federal government.
The Federal Health and Human Services Department determined Maine is guilty of violating Title IX and launched investigations into our public schools, the State Education Department, and the humane system, after the Governor and Principals Association refused to ban transgender girls from playing girls' sports. Maine has been targeted by more than a dozen federal probes and funding cut threats. Federal judges restored most funds that were cut. Now, this year, the Democratic-controlled state legislature defeated all 8 anti-trans bills that came before them, including one to remove the term gender identity from the Maine Human Rights Act. New at 6, a closer look at the motions filed by the Principals Association to quash the federal subpoena and protect student and school identities. We're live in the studio, Brad Rogers. Steph?
All right, Brad, thank you. And we are asking you at home, do you think the names of all high school athletes in Maine should be handed over to the federal government? Right now, 39% saying yes, 61% saying no. It's quite split. You can scan your QR code right now to weigh in. Well, just into our